Hi, my name is Gil Robertson, president of the African American Film Critics Association. Today, we're thrilled to be talking to the incredible actors who star in the uh, wonderful independent film Albany Road. I'm going to kick things off introducing you to the African members on the call today, starting with Karan Noah Kelly in Charlottesville, Virginia, Nancy Green in Los Angeles, Chris Stiles, Brother Chris in Cleveland, Ohio, Ray Cornelius in Atlanta, Georgia. Let's see, who else do we have? We have Chris Johnson down in North Carolina, Reggie Pounder in Chicago, sir. Bonnie the Song, also in Chicago. Tamara J in New Jersey. I got it right this time. I'm going to let you guys do what you do so well, and I'll see you on the other side.
Paula! I got $20 if you can lose that chick. Paula, wait!
If we lose this one, I can't afford you anymore.
Me? Back in the room? Come on.
Rumor has it my job is writing on you landing this account, so good luck, Celeste.
Oh, no!
Whoa, what's wrong?
Don't let her see me.
What?
I am riding in this car!
Fine. Then assume your role as my driver.
I am not moving until you put on a seatbelt.
Talk about the odd couple, right?
Yes.
I hope we're not too much trouble.
No trouble.
Kyle?
Celeste.
I know, it's totally random. It's a crazy coincidence.
Well, I always say there are no regrets in life, only lessons. But you can't always play it safe.
Well, Mom, say, Mom, everything happens for a reason.
I know what I said to you, but you're not hearing me.
Yeah. That's Paula. She tends to be very territorial when it comes to her son.
Your actions hurt people. And you can't always fix it after the fact.
I don't know what you're talking about. We come face to face with what we fear the most, or what we want the most, and sometimes you win. And sometimes you lose.
What was I supposed to do?
Is everything all right?
Call me when you land.
Now might be a good time for you to tell me why she isn't your wife.
She was the old you, before my mom got to her.
I can only imagine how all of this looks.
Are you happy?
You sound like you have completely flown over the cuckoo's
I am
nest.
not going down without a fight.
Oh my God!
Wow, Celeste, you sound a little bit stressed.
I ain't being powerless!
You are not!
Where are you?
I am on my way.
Good afternoon, Lynn and Christian. How are you? This is Chris Johnson, CW affiliate here in North Carolina.
Hello.
Should I say good morning to you guys? Hello. Question is actually for you, Lynn, but either one can answer you or Christian there. Albany Road, great film. I really enjoyed watching this. It speaks on so much and it touches on a lot of important issues like infertility and breast cancer in the Black community, especially. So how did the film balance these themes, within the narrative?
I think that's a you question, Christine.
Oh, but I always, Lynn, you know the answer, and I love to hear you talk.
Well, how does it balance in the narrative? I mean, I think what happens in Albany Road is that you just come to meet human beings who have life issues. I don't think that anything that we talk about in the film we think of as a platform for any of it. It's not really a platform for breast cancer or a platform for infertility. It's more an exploration, a very personal exploration of how these very personal issues affect human beings. And we just take the journey, the personal journey and story arcs of these people. And I feel like that's why it resonates with people, because we see the result of these issues on human beings.
Thank you so much, dear Lynn. I appreciate that. Thank you. And Christine.
Oh, so it's interesting because I look at Albany Road as a romantic dramedy. So the real life issues that Lynn spoke about are um, are catalyst points to really show humanity in people who just happen to be Black. So these are stories that the story resonates with any ethnicity because we're dealing with emotional and human connection. So I really loved exploring emotional and human connection through these Black characters that really speak to what everybody deals with. Conflict between someone you love and your mother, or a spouse or almost spouse or not almost spouse, and we just mash them up together in one location and have them all hash it out, which is a recipe really for an exciting story.
Great film. I really enjoyed watching it, and thank you both.
You're welcome.
Hi, my name is Nancy. And what I wanted to know from you is with working with the script and the direction, the acting, what was one of the most challenging aspects of working on the project for you? Like something that was really very emotional for you?
For me, emotionally, when have you seen the movie? You've seen the movie. All right, so we don't believe in, any spoilers. So for me, working with the movie, when I had the conversation with Christine about the possibility of doing the film, when I opened the script and realized that this character, makes her transition in the film, it really freaked me out because my brother had just passed like a week before. And when a sibling that's younger than you pass, it makes you confront your own mortality. It makes you think of the inevitable, and I'm deathly afraid of dying personally. And so that was very emotionally frightening for me, the actor, to deal with, because you want to channel the truth of a human being, and I just really was very hesitant and fearful of that experience. And I was also uh been with my brother in his last days, I didn't want to just like close my eyes inside of it. Like death is a process. I saw life leaving him, and I wanted to be able to capture the truth of that kind of transition. And so that, well, made me nervous. That was a big challenge for me. And the other big challenge was doing a film without a lot of concealer and contour. I was really freaked out to not have, all of my accoutrement.
So one of the asks for Lynn was to allow me to um, use her instrument without layers of makeup, because this is a character who evolves into the basic elements of life, whether in dealing with the elements, physically, externally, and internally. So there are many scenes where Lynn is not wearing makeup or not a lot of makeup. And to me, that was part of the storytelling of the revealing of Paula on multiple levels. And Lynn's like, well, I don't do that. That's not what she's used to, but she really trusted me, or got tired of fighting me. It wasn't a fight really, but it was kind of like, I see what you're trying to do, and I'm just going to trust that I'm going to look okay on camera. And I feel like in many ways she allowed me to use her instrument to really show the layers of this particular character in ways that we're not allowed to see in Black movies. We see Black women most times um, overly made up, extensive wigging. In this movie, everyone wears natural hair except one character, and we've seen the movie and we understand why. And what I really wanted to do was put a lens on the faces and into the hearts of Black women in the way that we know each other. So it really is an exploration of our humanity in the most basic layers. And Lynn allowed me to do that. And I really think it serves the character in a way that we have not seen on screen when it comes to Black storytelling. We see Shirley MacLaine do it. We see Meryl Streep do it. And when these women do the exact same thing that Lynn Whitfield did in this movie, they are given Oscars without question. And I wonder when it comes to like our storytelling and really the nakedness with which Lynn approached this character, um, I wonder if we look at it like, oh, that's easy for Black women to do because that's how they really are. And I just want to make a point that this is a character unlike any character that Lynn has ever played. And that's not how she really is, but she kind of is. But she put work into creating a character that she's not used to playing. And even allowing me to strip away layers of artifice on the road to creating authenticity. So that is what Lynn did. I know she said that she didn't let me wear contour, but no, what we did together was show our humanity with a huge spotlight without blemish, artifice, or any lies.
I want to know what J. Alphonse though was most hesitant about.
Well, I'm great to be here. I always enjoy speaking with you all. So thanks for having me. It was a complete joy working on the project. You know, it was really cold out there in Champaign, Illinois at the time. So dealing with the weather and coming from LA and trying to warm up a little bit, you know, trying to stay warm while we was out there. But it was fun. And, you know, being amongst legends and working with people who've been doing it for such a long time, whether it's behind the camera or in front of the camera. So just listening and observing. And so there wasn't too many challenges other than being there and just staying present and making sure that I'm delivering the work as best way I possibly can. But similar to Lynn, dealing with loss at the time, had just lost my auntie and lost a few other people in my life prior to working on the project. I can only imagine what it's like to lose my mother. You know, I've lost a parent before I lost my father. And so when I was 12 years old, so I know what that's like. I know how devastating it can be, but I know the loss of a mother is different. So that was a challenge for sure. Just living through those moments, breathing through those moments, and then inevitably thinking about my own mom, right, during those moments and what it would be like missing her. And so I can only imagine what it would be, but I used it at the time. I really used it for the work, really used it in every scene where I could make a connection between my family and this family that was on screen. And then also some of the new things that were there, just being open to what that may have been like and allowing myself to make natural choices and play with these craftsmen who came to play. Everybody came to work in you know 20-degree weather, praying for snow and praying for warmth and sun at the same time. So it was a lot of fun.
Nice. Thank you so much. Those were wonderful answers. Thank you. I appreciate it. And my condolences, Lynn, also.
Thank you.
Hi, I'm Bonnie DeShong here in Chicago. Hi, Christine.
Hi, Bonnie.
Number one, I was born and raised in Champaign, Illinois, and the whole city is taking all kinds of credit for this film. So I just want you to know that right off the bat.
Nice.
My question, oh, and Zandra Hayes says hello.
Oh, nice.
My question is this: the title is Albany Road, and all through the film, Lynn's character is giving the address all through the film, but you never see her get to that address. What's the title? What's the significance of the title and the repetition of the address throughout the film?
It's really a metaphor for home. And some of us may get there sooner than others. Others may not make it. So it's really playing with that in storytelling. And honestly, like for the title, I could have been flying in New York somewhere and I saw, oh, this is the way to Albany. And it just stuck with me. And I'm like, I want to pick a nondescript title for my movie that could sound like a white movie. Like it doesn't matter. but I wanted to use that in such a way to show like it's a movie, and then look at the players that we're playing with and draw people in. So I wanted to create a sense of mystique, but definitely using a lot of metaphors and symbolism in the storytelling that helps our heart follow the dots without clocking us over the head with excess talking. So it's something I just always wanted to do with our stories, because I think there are levels of deepness that we can play with that also work with the comedic factors and the dramatic factors as well.
Thank you.
Hi all, I'm Reggie Ponder, the Real Critic out of Chicago. And since you guys were in Chicago, next time, you can check out Bonnie and myself when you're in Chicago. Holla at us.
We will.
But my question, Christine, you said that it was kind of Lynn and it was kind of not Lynn, and it really sparked my question for both Lynn and Jay, is that when you were looking at the script or playing your part, did you say, yeah, I know that person? Or did you say, I don't know who you are right now? And if you did, whichever one of those that you did, tell me why.
I had an inkling of an understanding who Paula was. I've played a lot of very protective, domineering moms, right? So that's a part of who she is. But really, the specificity, characters, if you take the exploration, are as specific as a fingerprint. No human being is the same. So I had to look for and continue to look for through the last day of shooting, like the truths, because the truths, the unfoldment of the truth of human beings happens moment by moment. I'm talking to you right now, and in every moment you're getting another facet of what that is to do character exploration, or oh, that was different, oh, didn't think of that. So it's moment by moment. I feel like if you approach a character and say, I know exactly who this person is and I know how I'm going to do it, then you're in trouble, because then one isn't present. So it's being present in the moment that helps me understand who a character is throughout the playing of that person,
I think you always approach moments where you are familiar with certain things as a character, especially when you've been doing it for a while. I feel like I have to sneeze, sorry. There it is, excuse me. But yeah, thank you. You're always familiar with certain aspects of who this human being is, because we're a human being. We know those feelings. But I think for me, it's fun to find the new things. It's fun to find what happens in the moment, like that sneeze, right? I didn't know that was coming. I felt it, and then all of a sudden it happens, and now you got to sneeze during the middle of your roundtable discussion. And so it's cool to discover new parts of who the character is, and allow it to challenge you. And then when you start working with your scene partner, it becomes a whole new thing, right? It's one thing to be saying and reading it in your trailer or reading it by yourself, but as soon as you get into the room, looking into that person's eyes, which working with Lynn was always such an experience, right? Because her character is deep into her soul and her eyes. It changes your thoughts, whether you get mad at that person, or that person makes you sad, or that person surprises you with the choice that they make. So you allow yourself to go on that journey. And as long as you're breathing, most of the time you can follow a track. And if you get off track, that's why you got Christine and other great people in the room to help you get back where you need to be.
Well, I think you guys did good. Yes,
can I add
absolutely,
something about
Christine.
Alphonse Nicholson? I met him directing him in P-Valley. He plays a completely different character in P-Valley than when he plays in Albany Road. And if you didn't know him, you would never think that he could be cast to play a college professor who's the love interest of Tony winner Renee Elise Goldsberry, who's the son of Emmy winner Lynn Whitfield, and you throw him in there, he just holds his
Oh
own
my gosh.
and just flies, which really
But
speaks to this young man's great talent.
yes, I mean, because I have to tell you, I'm embarrassed that I hadn't seen a lot of Jay's work before. That's on me. I'm like, okay, girl, what's wrong with you? Wake up and smell the coffee. But when I saw P Valley, I have to tell you, I really thought that he was some kind of binary hip hop artist. I did not know. He so convinced me that I did not see an actor. I saw a human being. I saw a person that I wanted to know more about. Who he was so courageous in that. So when I saw him the first day of rehearsal, or when we were having fittings and everything, I saw Elise. I saw him together. I think they had. I don't know how it all happened, but it was like across a yard, and I was embarrassed because I screamed out, Renee, do you know you're going to be kissing Lil Murda? And because I was so enamored with your performance, Jay, in P Valley, and how courageous it was. And so then to see, so I thought we were just going to have like this, raucous party shooting. But this actor, sir, he is so disciplined and so clear. I mean, on what he's working on. I was like, okay, this is an artist. And me being an artist, I just made a snap. I was so vulnerable as an audience member that I just said, okay, that just is who he is. So I see how that happens with audience members, that they just pin something on us because we play it so well. So kudos to my thespian scene partner.
Thank you. That means the world. Thank you.
Okay, thank you guys. I'm glad you mentioned the part about Jay, Christine, because I totally agree. Thank you so much.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I call him a young Marlon Brando.
Thank you, Christine. That means the world. Thank you.
Well, he's one of Africa's best actors.
Yeah.
Thank you, brother.
Hi, I'm Chris Dowles out of Cleveland, Ohio. This question is for Jay Alphonse. Your character resonates a lot when I'm talking about for Black men and about communication, right? And communication within your relationship and knowing what you want and being open to that. What do you think that your character is trying to do, or what he wasn't saying? Because I know a lot of Black men have a problem communicating with Black women, right? It's telling what we want, and you are highly educated in that script.
Yeah, man, that's a great question. I'm not as smart as Kyle, that's for sure, when it comes to being a tenured professor, but when it comes to communicating with the Black woman, I strive to be better at that every day. In my real life, with my wife, with my daughter, my mom, my sister. And I think it's something that we have to continue to work on in the Black community. I think Kyle has to work on that. Just because he's a tenured professor doesn't mean he's great at communicating with his mom and his fiance and ex-fiance. I think he made some bad decisions, when it came down to how soon he should have communicated something or how he should have communicated. And then just ain't proper anger management. Sometimes it doesn't always look like yelling and putting your fist through something, but not being able to express your feelings to your mother, or not being able to have a conversation. This movie, to be quite honest with you, prompted me to have deeper conversations with my mom. My wife encouraged me when we saw the film to, hey, I think you need to have a deeper conversation with some of the conflicts that you've had with your mom. And so I think, playing this character, I hope it does spark that for a lot of Black men, as well as the women in our community and everyone in between, that communication is key. And without it, you can find yourself in trouble. You can find yourself in a dark place. And so have experienced that in my personal life, and have been able to experience it as a storyteller, and then find myself in the middle of it, was a real life experience, man. And it is truly has been helpful for me, and hopefully it helps someone else too.
Yeah, I mean, you did your thing, and that was an awesome role, awesome movie, and I appreciate you.
Hi, Ray Cornelius here with Upfront Inside Atlanta's Entertainment Industry. Great film. Good job, Christine, as always. And my question is for Ms. Whitfield. You actually look great. When I was watching the film, I said, "Oh my God, this woman has not aged." You looked amazing even in the close-up shots. Your skin was impeccable.
You.
But you were very funny in this film. I had never seen you this comical. So how was that? Because we've never really seen you in a comedic space. There were some very dramatic moments, but there were some very funny moments, especially between you and Lisa Arundel.
Yeah, well, it's just I'm sure that Jay could attest to this. People oftentimes don't give you the opportunity to explore those areas. My comedic work has been mainly being a straight person to other people, the straight man to Martin in Thin Line, straight man, straight woman to Chris Rock and Head of State, to but this time I had the opportunity to land the joke, and I didn't know how it was how you know those things in theater, but in film and television, you don't know if you land the joke. And that's why I've been so honored to learn more, as a student of comedic acting, by being at the screenings that Christine has set up, to see that, wow, that joke landed so hard. I mean, people were like, and the little improvisations that we can throw in, and gaining more courage in that area. So it's been a great exercise and learning experience for me. I've always known I was funny. My family knows I'm funny, but like my daughter Grace Gibson, who also sings the title song at the end of the and co-wrote it with Leon Lacey, but she always says that we're each other's muses, and she says, "Mom, you're most funny when you're not trying to be." And so I said, well, what does that mean for my acting? But this way, today I was able to combine both things and intentionally have a joke and see that it worked and not be fakey about it. So it was fun. And a lot of it, I think, was Christine creating an environment where you weren't afraid to take take chances. You know what I'm saying? Where there was such a real approach and truth to what we were doing in the scene work, that I think a lot of times the jokes landed and were funny because we felt free to really be those people.
And it also really speaks to this is what I'm saying, where I'm dealing with actors who these two in particular are they're trained actors in the classical sense, and we know how good they are in the dramatic space. But then to leap from what Lynn is typically known for into a role that has surprised everyone on this panel just really speaks to her versatility as an actress. And like every day she was cracking me up, and like she still does in real life. I think Lynn is one of the funniest persons I know, which I'm personally shocked that I only knew Lynn as Greenleaf, or
well, that's because you haven't watched everything then.
Well, yes, I have, but the latest.
I mean, playing one of those very poised and well-dressed women, because Hollywood. I mean, once I did Josephine Baker, then it was always she's elegant, she's this and she's that, and unfortunately, people in Hollywood usually hire you to do what they know you will deliver, because they don't want to take the blame for messing up. and miscasting somebody. So I think that the root of typecasting is a fear of making a mistake and giving an actor a choice, because a chance to do something different in case they mess up. You know what I'm saying? And
Yeah.
another thing about the humor in the film, it came out of the human condition, because another really funny moment in the film is when Jay's character realizes that he still loves Renee, and we're at the dinner table, and it's like, oh shit, and you take that long gulp of wine, that you pour the wine, and you that is funny. Like every time, every screening, that resonates, because a man under pressure, right? It's like, oh damn, your discomfort was hysterical. And then it flipped right back into drama. But that's how life is, though.
Amen.
We laugh a minute, and just
Yeah.
go to any
Yeah. No,
family dinner of Black people, and you will see all of that happening in real time. It's like, oh shit, you're getting on my nerves, but I'm not gonna say nothing. Oh, well, I really want to talk about this, but I'm not talking about that right now. Hey, oh, I wonder if they realized I lost weight and they see I'm growing. I mean, everybody's having these inner monologues going on at a family dinner table. And so the way Christine did that was to allow those thoughts even to have their own comedic timing within the scenes, you know? So it was really a lot of fun dealing with the human comedy of this piece.
Amen.
Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome.
Tamara J for Noir Online. My question is for the entire panel. As parents, the movie covers familiar territory for us all. I wanted to know, as parents, how do you differentiate between guiding your kids versus being overbearing? And what advice do you have for daughters and sons to recognize what advice to take and what advice to possibly ignore?
The inspiration for this story stemmed from a real life experience where my husband's mom had health issues that she really didn't share with us. And fast forward to life now, I have 3 sons and a daughter. And one of the things that I really wanted to try to do in the storytelling was create a space where we can understand scenarios and possibly give them the language to deal with certain circumstances. I just did that through a movie, through storytelling, through comedy, through drama. But I hope in doing that for my own children that other people and other people's children can use this as an opportunity to be a little bit introspective in terms of what they need to communicate before it's too late.
Yeah, no, I think being a parent is my number one joy in life. You know, I think there's nothing like it. It's nothing like, for me, having a son and a daughter, to be able to experience both sides of it. And you always, I find myself comparing my abilities to parent to what my parents were able to do, you know, and hoping that I'm doing it a little bit better, or pulling from what they did and adding to my, you know, the tool belt that I have. And then also just being willing and open to different lines and ways of communication, learning from my wife how she deals with our daughter and how she deals with our son compared to how I deal with him. And I think this film, it does teach you that transparency is key. You don't want to wait until it's too late. You want to communicate in a way that's not going to be overbearing to your child, that's not going to step on them and allow them to feel like that you don't see them. And we started that a lot earlier than Paula and Kyle. You know, our children are 15 and are 13 and 18, but we've been communicating to them, giving them the tools since they were, you know, able to speak. And I think the sooner you get started on that, the better. And that way you don't run into these problems that Kyle and Paula were having in their relationship. But I just feel like people change. My son used to be the most outspoken, giddy little kid, and now he's 13 and quite the introvert and doesn't really talk much and doesn't want to tell me certain things. So now I'm having to find new ways to get his attention, find new ways to have spark conversations with him. And at the same time, I'm making sure I'm open and transparent with him about some of the mistakes that I've made and, you know, what I could have done better at his age and different things like that. So just keeping the lines of communication open, but also trying to find new ways to spark conversations and keep it exciting. So there's no secrets, you know.
Yeah, and from what Jay was saying, I think that Albany Road is a great cautionary tale of choices that a parent has. First of all, once a parent, always a parent. And for us as parents to be able to understand that this is no longer a boy, this is a man, and how, you know, you deal with your child. So it inspires me to say that how someone parents their choices, you either parent in a way that emboldens and strengthens your child to actually be able to go out and move forward as an independent thinker, or you can say the same thing in a way that makes them feel smaller and undermines their confidence. So it's to see how we can parent better. And I think at the end of Paula's life, her drive was to try to correct the way she had chosen to guide his life or be of service as a parent, to allow him to feel his own personal strength, as opposed to taking the reins and making the decisions for him. So I think parents can take a look at that and learn from it and grow from it.
Thank you all so much.
Hello, hello. I am Karan Kelly from Karanism.com and Love Music Pleasure. And this film shocked me in a little bit of a different way because my husband and I grew up together. And we were together in our 20s after we finished military service. And then parental interference was an issue. So it was kind of visceral for me, but it was also really funny because when we broke up in our 20s, it was after a long car ride with his mother. So the thing we married 25 years later, but the thing that stuck out with me was, I don't know what the backwoods mean to you, but I know what it means to me. So I want to know what the backwoods means to each of you.
Yeah, I grew up in North Carolina, so I think it has a nice Southern vibe to it. You know, there's plenty of places in North Carolina that you just find yourself in some dirt town or dirt road where it's like, where am I? Why am I here? I hope I'm safe. And either this white brother is going to try to say something really offensive to me, and then sometimes they'll be like, "Hey, brother, how you doing?" And they know you really well, and so it depends on what back town you're coming from. Sometimes people are going to be more acquainted than others, and you have to look over your shoulder a little bit more. So I did North Carolina. I know sometimes people come there, "Oh, this ain't the South, man. There's nothing backroadish about this," but you can find yourself in a few places that feel a little KKK-ish and get a little scary. But at the same time, you can also find yourself some humble Black people who just like to eat possums and turtles and raccoons and all the other good stuff. And so, you know, it can be a fun experience and it can be a horrible experience depending on which road you go down.
Yeah, I think in this film for Paula, when she said, you know, she wasn't going to go on, you know, what the backwoods meant to her, it was the danger, you know, it was, you know, the hanging tree. It was, you don't want to be on a back road and meet the wrong person. It was the civil rights movement and all the young people who were killed when they went out on those buses. So in her mind, she did not trust going anywhere like that where people didn't have to be accountable. She carried that from her generation, from where she was as a human. That's what it meant to that character, that it undermined her sense of safety, you know? then. So that's how she responded to having to go off the highway and into those back roads, you know? And as a Louisianian and, you know, living in Georgia sometimes, and, you know, I could kind of track that through her thought process. And that's what I think it meant to Paula.
It's also about people finding themselves completely unprepared for what life brings you, but having had life experiences that keep you ever vigilant. So, you know, Paula is that ever vigilant person who's trying to stay one step ahead. So being always prepared for worst case scenarios, here we find a character in this point in her life who could not prepare for her worst case scenario. And now the journey begins.
So grateful for this film, not just because of how it talked about death and its immediacy, but also because of how it talked about love facing mortality. So thank you so much. And Jay, you never know what you're gonna find at a Piggly Wiggly.
Exactly.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Christine, Lynn, and Jay, thank you for talking with us today. On behalf of the world's largest group of Black film and TV critics, thank you for watching this edition of AAFCA Roundtables. Have a great day.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Gil.
Thank you.
so much.
Thank
you so much.
you.